Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we do have plenty more Barca news coming your way. Again, we're going to have the very latest on transfers, an interesting discussion coming up on Ronald Araujo's future. We're also going to be talking about Pablo Torre today and what the future could hold for him. And of course, we've got a big update, and a really big update that it is, on Nico Williams. Athletic Club, they have simply lost the plot. It is all on the way. Get yourselves ready and let's do this. But I would like to begin first of all, guys, by talking here about some potentially very important news when it comes here to Barca's younger players, their youth players, and that transition from youth level right the way up to the first team. Because I've got to say, the situation at Barça Atletic now, it's a little bit damaging. It's a little bit difficult there to imagine that players playing at Barça Atletic can really grow and improve in the right way. And the reason for that is, unfortunately, this season, they were relegated again. They actually moved now from the Spanish third tier right the way down to the Spanish fourth tier. And I think, to be honest, with Barça Atletic, it's been a combination of mismanagement there. I think they've had some poor appointments in terms of the coaches that have been at the club. But along with that, I think ultimately, the fact that the first team have taken on so many of the talented young players coming through, you know, they've taken a lot of players away from the B team there. That has obviously hurt Barça Atletic's chances. And of course, that's the whole point of having these youth teams. They are to supply the first team, and in that way, it's done its job. But Barça Atletic in the fourth tier, it's not ideal now for developing players and playing at a high level, playing at a high standard there. And that is why today I think it's really interesting that we're hearing Barca and FC Andorra, they are in talks to have some sort of collaboration going there between the two clubs. And of course, you will recognise there FC Andorra. It's the club there where Gerard Piqué is heavily involved in their ownership, and they have now gotten themselves promoted to the second division, to La Liga 2. And that is why now Gerard Piqué, actually, apparently himself, he is in talks with Barca. Can we do something together? You know, could we have maybe a few of the players from Barça Atletic to use in our team? We can develop them there. We can play them at a higher standard in the second division. And those talks right now with Piqué, they are ongoing. But it's going to be interesting to see if Barca do work together with FC Andorra to make sure we are giving players every opportunity to develop and test themselves at the highest level. There has also been today a very big update on the future of Ivan Perisic. Of course, that was a name that right the way through the summer so far we've had some links to. We were considering the possibility of Perisic joining Barca. Would he add something there? Would he bring with him some experience? Hansi Flick is a big fan of his. He's worked with him in the past. But today, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Perisic is on the verge of signing a renewal with PSV Eindhoven, where he had, let's not forget, an absolutely spectacular season, and right now he is about to sign a new 2-year deal in the Eredivisie, and Barca, they are not going to be signing Perisic. I think there was interest there. I think there was a little bit of a discussion that went on, but in the end we have decided here to go with other targets. He is going to stay now in the Netherlands, and what this essentially means now is that Marcus Rashford, he is the outright candidate for that kind of role in the squad. Somebody to come in there as a bit of a wild card, somebody to help with depth, with rotation, a wide player there. And I think Rashford is somebody who will need to reduce his wages. Right now, of course, we know that he earns a lot of money. Barca are not going to be willing to pay all of those wages, make no mistake about that. And what Barca also want is to pay absolutely nothing for him. They don't necessarily want him here on a permanent deal. They would like a loan this summer, and Rashford, he continues to be a target for the club. We know that he's absolutely desperate to come, and Barca backing out of that Perisic deal, him signing a renewal at PSV, it only adds to those Rashford rumours. However, guys, staying right here with the transfer latest right now, let's talk a little bit about Pablo Torre, because of course only recently we've heard lots of rumours that Marc Casado could actually inherit Pablo Torre's number this summer there and become the number 14 at Barca, because the anticipation is that Nico Williams will become our new number 17 this summer. And what that means is, have we seen the end of Pablo Torre at Barca. Is he going to depart the club this summer? And I do have to say, guys, in the media right now, there are even some rumours that Torre could not only leave, we've been talking about loan deals, we've been talking about, is that the right option? He could even be sold this summer, apparently there, maybe with the buyback option. Mallorca right now are one of the clubs very, very interested in Pablo Torre. And I just wonder right now, off the back of rumours like that, how would you honestly feel if Barca this summer were to well and truly cut their ties with Pablo Torre? If they did say, okay, we're going to let you go. We are going to sell you outright. And yesterday, of course, we discussed Noah Darvic in some detail there, a young player also being cast aside by the club, sold very much on the cheap. And I've got to say, I would be very disappointed if we did that with Pablo Torre as well here, because you feel as though if you keep allowing these young, talented players who haven't really gotten their chance, haven't really gotten a solid opportunity, and if you just keep giving them away, not even really making any serious money on them, at some point, one of those, it's going to come back to bite you. It's going to come back to haunt you there, and you are going to regret that decision. So I think it's going to be really key to see this summer what happens with Pablo Torre, what would be the right move to make, and also, guys, by the way, Mallorca not only interested in just Pablo Torre, they are also keeping tabs on our brand new signing, Roony Bardghji. Could he head straight out on loan? We thought maybe he'd come in and spend some time there between Barça Atletic and the first team, but perhaps he will arrive, he will sign for the club here, and he will immediately go out on loan there to a La Liga team. Mallorca, like I say right now, they're very, very interested in Roony Bardghji. And what would be your reaction to that? Would you be happy to see him get some more regular football? Do you feel as though that's the right next step in his development? Or would you like to see him stay at the club? Do you feel as though he's a player that we could be using right away, given that we did spend money to get him now? We didn't wait until January when he would have been a free agent. We spent the money, we brought him in now for €2 million plus bonuses. But what will happen with Roony this summer? However, guys, we do have to move on here to quite a curious topic, in my opinion, because I want to talk in detail here about Ronald Araujo, because we've spoken about him plenty of times recently. Deco came out and so clearly told us all, we want Araujo. We're not planning as a club here on him leaving. That is not something that we anticipate. But even despite those words, even despite Deco, of course, who's head of all the transfers, incomings and outgoings at Barca, even despite what he said, there are still rumours about Araujo. And even me personally, guys, I wonder here whether part of those words from Deco, whether that whole message from the club, we don't want to sell him, we don't want to get rid of Araujo, was that actually meant to be, okay, let's generate some interest? We're almost saying, no, you can't have our incredible top quality centre-back. No way, we want to keep him for ourselves. There's no way that you're going to be able to sign him. But are we still open to a sale? If an offer came our way, would we still consider it? And I've got to say right now, guys, the number one concern I have with this is, again, the way that we sell players, the way that we do business here, the way that we are so seemingly desperate in negotiations. Because we all know that Juventus, they are still interested in Araujo. We know that because in January, they were so close to signing him. They are really, really interested in bringing Araujo to the club. That has not changed. They will also try and make a move, apparently, for him this summer. But remember that in that new Araujo contract, there was a quite modest release clause, I thought, of €65 million, which in my opinion, that would be more on the low side. If you were going to sell a player like him, 65 million, that is the lowest that I would go personally. That's the lowest that I'd be accepting for him. And now we're hearing in the media, Juventus, they want Araujo, they want to make a move for him this summer. In the media today, we have heard rumours of a bid of 25 to 30 million. 25 to 30 million euros for Ronald Araujo. And that's what scares me. We do not sell players well, and I do not want to see us here this summer, whether it be Araujo, whether it be any other player who can be of value to this team. Please stop selling players on the cheap. Please stop negotiating in the way that we do, whereby we're snapping people's hands off. We're willing to enter those conversations. That shouldn't even get through the door. If Juve come and they talk about 25 to 30 million, clearly they're not interested. Clearly they are not going to be paying what we need, and you just say no. You don't even talk if that's the kind of money they are bringing to the table, guys. So for me, those Araujo rumours, they're interesting. I personally still wouldn't rule out his exit, but for that kind of money, no chance for me. However, guys, we do indeed need to move on now. Now the emotions are really getting started because we have to talk about Nico Williams and this whole entire situation with Athletic Club, because what we heard, over the past few hours really, is sheer anger, sheer desperation from Athletic Club when it comes to Barca's approach of Nico. Because now they know he wants to leave. Now they know that Barca are in pole position. We have every chance here of signing him. And we know that we can. We know that we can pay the clause. Even if they don't want to play ball, even if they don't want to accept installments. Again, we do not care. We have the money at the start of July. We'll be taking it to La Liga. And we will be buying Nico out of his Athletic Club contract. And right now, because of that, they are petrified. Now, what we have heard in the media since, and what has now been confirmed by Athletic Club themselves, is they're going to La Liga. They are basically going to the offices here of La Liga. They're meeting here. They're trying to talk to anybody that will listen. And they are actively crying about what Barca are doing. They are saying right now, we want to look into the club. We want to look into Barca's finances. We want to actually audit this club to see if they can really afford him, to see here if they should be on the one-for-one ruling. And Athletic have confirmed this evening they've spoken with La Liga. They want to know about Barca and the one-for-one ruling. They want to know about our finances. But as far as I can see here, La Liga, they wouldn't even be allowed to tell Athletic Club about what we are doing as a club. They wouldn't be allowed to divulge their financial, confidential information. Who on earth do Athletic Club think that they are? Who on earth do they think they are? They have no authority in this situation right here. They are acting right now as though they can decide whether we sign Nico or not. They can actually hold the final say and say, okay, we're not letting him go. We're not letting him go to Barca. We will not allow that to happen. And can I just say, you do not have that power. That's the point of a release clause. That is the essence here of what a release clause is supposed to mean in Spain. It is to protect players from situations like this, because do not forget that release clause was agreed by Nico Williams and by Athletic Club. When that contract was signed, they both agreed on the release clause, and that means that if somebody comes in and pays that and Nico gives his approval, there is nothing the club can do. The clause is there to protect players and to protect them in La Liga. So Athletic here, there's nothing they can do. They can cry about Barca. They can go to La Liga. They can talk about whatever they want to do. They can look as far as they want to into this deal. But if we go to La Liga's offices, present 62 million euros in full, he's ours. He will not be their player, and there is nothing at all that they can do about it. And I find their actions extraordinary, guys. And this is why, when we were hearing about the fact they wanted to help Bayern Munich there, and I've got no doubt as well, if Real Madrid were in for Nico, they try and help them. They have something against Barca. They have some kind of vendetta against our club. We've seen it in the Negreira case. We've seen it here in the Dani Olmo case as well. We've seen them many, many times here trying to make a stand against Barca. I don't know what we did. I don't know how we hurt them. Maybe it was the Copa del Rey finals. Maybe they're still seeing that Messi solo goal go round and round in their minds. I don't know what it is. But Nico will be ours. And they simply do not have the power to stop it. So indeed, guys, that right there is the full update right now on what is happening at Barca, and things are starting to get very, very interesting regarding Nico Williams. But let me just say, guys, stay nice and calm. We are in control of this situation. Barca know what they are doing in this case. They are waiting, they are patient, they are getting ready to pay that clause at the start of July. And please do let me know in the comments down below, what do you make of the actions here of Athletic Club? What do you make of the way they are conducting themselves right now? And I will see you soon with all of the latest updates coming right here on the channel. Thank you indeed for the great support. I'll catch you soon. But until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.